Have you ever noticed that completely different cultures sometimes arrive at remarkably similar conclusions? That's something I've been sitting with for many years now. One culture talks about chakras, another talks about chi flowing through meridians. Modern neuroscience talks about electrical impulses, neurotransmitters, and the automatic nervous system. And psychology gives us Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Functional medicine asks us to look for the root causes instead of isolated symptoms. They're all using different language, different metaphors, different maps. But sometimes I can't help but wonder if they're describing overlapping pieces of the same human experience. Welcome to Incandescent Voltage, Luminous Being. My name is Tiffany, and I have been a functional medicine board-certified health coach since 2017. Everything shared on this channel is intended for educational and reflective purposes only. This is not medical advice. You are the keeper of your own current, so please seek medical or mental health support whenever necessary. Before we go any further, I want to be clear about something. This is an opinion I am sharing with you today. I am not trying to convince you or anyone else that chakras are objectively real or that you have to adopt my worldview. Healthy skepticism is valuable, and thoughtful conversation is far more interesting than debate. I'm not a fan of debates. My goal isn't to convert anyone. My goal is simply to share how I've come to see the world and hopefully find the people who resonate with that perspective. Because this channel isn't just about health, it's about curiosity. It's about asking better questions and about recognizing that sometimes ancient wisdom has something extremely meaningful to teach us, even when we don't choose to interpret it literally. Now, I'm a health coach, but my education didn't stop there. I'm trained in Reiki. I completed over 200 hours of training in Jin Shin Do. That's an acupressure system that's deeply rooted in traditional Chinese medicine. Those studies introduced me to concepts like chi meridians and the interconnected relationship between emotions, physical health, and energy flow. They also led me to Qigong, which has become a steady and meaningful practice in my daily life. And over time, I discovered something I realized that not everyone experiences. When I practice Qigong and form what practitioners call a Qi ball between my hands, and it kind of looks something like this, I genuinely feel something, warmth, like a pressure or almost like a sensation of two magnets gently pushing against each other. I've spoken with other practitioners who describe similar things and others who feel nothing at all, and that's okay. I'm not sharing this to ask you to believe my experience. I'm sharing it because it's a part of my story, a part of why I remain open to things that can't always be neatly measured. The older I get, the more comfortable I become saying, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know exactly what Qi is. I don't know exactly how Reiki works. I don't know whether chakras exist as literal energy centers in the body. But I also know that science has a long history of discovering things people once dismissed simply because the tools to measure them simply didn't exist. What I do know is that the human body is already profoundly electrical. Every heartbeat is coordinated through electrical signaling. Every thought involves electrochemical activity. Your nervous system communicates through electrical impulses. Your muscles contract because of electrical activity. Your brain waves can be measured. Your heart generates an electromagnetic field. So when someone suggests the human body has an energetic dimension, my first response is not dismissal. I'm on board. Let's talk about this. Where science and spirituality diverge is in the question of whether there are additional aspects of human energy that we simply don't understand. And I'm comfortable living with the uncertainty. Curiosity has served me far better than certainty ever has. And something else about the chakra system that has captured my thoughts are the colors. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. And perhaps this says something about me as a lifelong science fiction fan, but every time I see those colors laid out in sequence, my mind goes to Star Wars. The root chakra is red. Red is also the color most associated with the Sith, with survival, fear, control, and domination. As you move upward through the spectrum, the colors shift into green, blue, indigo, and violet, colors that many traditions associate with healing, wisdom, truth, and transcendence. Did George Lucas intend that symbolism? I have no idea. I don't know. But I find it beautiful that a modern myth might have arrived at the same spectrum as an ancient one. The more I studied the chakra system, the more another connection emerged, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. At the base of Maslow's pyramid are our most fundamental physiological needs: food, water, shelter, sleep, safety. Without these, the human brain doesn't spend much time contemplating purpose or self-transcendence. It's simply trying to survive. And to me, that's remarkably similar to the root chakra. Maslow then moves upward through belonging, esteem and growth, and eventually self-transcendence. The chakra system moves also in the same direction, from survival to emotion to identity to love and authentic expression to wisdom to connection and something larger than ourselves. But are they identical? Well, no. But do they overlap in ways that I find deeply meaningful? Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. Maybe different cultures have simply created different maps while trying to understand the same extraordinary landscape, which is the human being. One map uses chakras, another uses meridians, another uses psychology, another uses neuroscience, and another uses storytelling. Because some of the deepest truths I've ever encountered didn't come from textbooks. They came from fairy tales, mythology, literature, and yes, Star Wars. The Force is described as an invisible energy that connects all living things. Traditional Chinese medicine describes Qi as life force moving through the pathways of the body. Countless spiritual traditions speak of a divine breath, an animating current. Are these all describing exactly the same thing? I don't know. But I think they're all pointing toward a common human intuition that life is far more interconnected than we tend to realize. Whether or not you believe in chakras, I think there's real wisdom hidden inside of them. Because if we simply strip away the spiritual language and ask what each chakra invites us to reflect on, the questions become profound. Do I feel safe? Can I experience joy? Do I know who I am? Am I genuinely connected to other people? Can I speak honestly? Can I see my life clearly? Am I living with purpose? Those questions matter, whether you're spiritual or religiously scientific or somewhere in between. As a health coach, I'm not interested in asking what's wrong with you. I am far more interested in asking, what is your body trying to communicate? Because perhaps what some traditions call blocked energy and what modern neuroscience calls chronic nervous system dysregulation are simply two different languages for the same lived experience. A person in chronic survival mode often has shallow breathing, tight shoulders, digestive problems, elevated stress hormones, difficulty sleeping, and a body that never quite feels safe enough to rest. Traditional Chinese medicine would describe that differently than a neurologist would. A Reiki practitioner would use different words than a psychologist. But all of them are observing the same thing, a human being whose system is struggling to find balance. That's why I find these conversations so meaningful. Not because I believe any single tradition has all the answers, but because I believe each one offers another piece of the picture. For me, years of studying Reiki, Jin Shin Do, Qigong, functional medicine, psychology, nervous system regulation, and yes, even paying attention to symbolism and stories has led me to one simple conclusion. Human beings heal best when they move from fear to safety, from chaos to regulation, from isolation to connection, from suppression to authentic expression, and from merely surviving to living with meaning. You don't have to believe in chakras to appreciate the journey. You don't have to believe in energy work to ask whether your body feels safe. And you certainly don't have to agree with me. This is my lived experience. You're welcome to interpret it entirely differently. But if you are someone who finds joy in exploring the intersections between science, ancient wisdom, story, and lived experience, I have a feeling that you found your people, and I am very glad that you are here. Before we close, I want to let you know that in the community tab tomorrow, I'm going to place some reflective questions. You can use these to journal with, use them just for contemplation, or you can even use them for your next appointment with your therapist or counselor for a deeper conversation if that is something that feels supportive to you. Remember, there's no pressure to have immediate answers. Sometimes the healing can begin by simply just making space for the questions themselves. Thank you for choosing to spend this time here with me today, luminous being. If something in this conversation resonated with you, I would love to hear your reflections in the comments. How did this shift the way that you view yourself, your body, or your current season of life? And what expanded your self-awareness? These conversations are not about perfection. They're about learning to listen more honestly to our bodies and ourselves with curiosity and compassion and clarity. If this episode supported you in any way, please like, subscribe, and share this video with someone else that you think may need these words today. And of course, if you would like to go deeper, I invite you to explore my free 5-day email course. The link is in the description below. This is where ancient wisdom meets modern science, just to offer some support on your own health, nervous system, and wellness journey. And until next time, may you continue healing at the speed of safety.